This is Mikey.
And I'm Garrison Rifen. This is Cinema Debrief. Welcome to Cinema Debrief, episode 10. I'm Garrison Rifen, here alongside Mikey. How you doing tonight, Mikey?
What is up, Garrison? I just had perhaps the best Saturday that a cinephile could have. I got to watch 3 movies in a row at home. We had no plans today. It was like a lazy Saturday, and I watched 3 2025 releases in a row that I was just, movies that I probably would not have gone to the theater to see anyways. Well, especially the first one. The first one was Old Guard 2. Just some cool fight scenes, but otherwise, Last Breath, which I kind of enjoyed. The one about the team of people that work on things in the ocean, and there's an accident. It's based on a true story. It was not half bad. And then Dead of Winter, which is an ominous title. It's got Emma Thompson in it and Judy Greer. Sort of a smaller film. I do remember it having a theatrical release, but it's a Vertical one. So it like when Vertical releases something in theaters, it's like maybe a week if you're lucky. But it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. I watched it on HBO Max. Not half bad. I mean,
the problem with a studio named Vertical nowadays is that Vertical is becoming a term in the industry, which stands for, it doesn't stand for an acronym, but it stands for content that's shot for iPhones nowadays, or phones in general.
I hate that.
They're these micro dramas being produced all over Hollywood, making a bunch of money right now on apps that I've never even heard of that are like Chinese made. It's bizarre, but they're being called verticals.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, Vertical Studios might need to change their name then. Just rebrand into something. But they every once in a while they have a good movie that comes out. And Dead of Winter was fine, but I can see why nobody went and saw it. I mean, they just don't those studios of that size don't have a marketing budget. And so they can't put forth much money to promoting their film, even though you've got like an Academy Award winner, Emma Thompson, in your movie, and she does great in the movie. But I don't know. But anyways, it's great.
It's like Briarcliff Entertainment.
It's all them. Guys. Yeah. Or Magnolia.
SBX, I think has died, but
Magnolia used to be big. Like they were before A24 was around, Magnolia was around. Yeah. And they were they would release movies like A24 and Neon release. And
I think they still exist, but
they do. No, they're definitely around.
Film they put out that I've seen recently in the last 5 to 10 years has not interested me.
Yeah, it's just
aside from
yeah.
I think they might have been involved in the I'm blanking on the name of the old lady movie.
Oh, the one that's Scarlett Johansson directed?
No,
no,
a same actress, same old lady actress actually.
Oh. Okay.
But the one where she's playing like a out for revenge grandma.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that one either. I don't know what you're talking. June Squibb's her name.
Yes,
but I can't remember the name of that. See, forgettable movies. But I remember it being kind of fun. Yeah,
I just forgot the name.
Fred Heckinger was in it also.
Yep. It's Thelma.
Thelma, yeah, that was actually pretty. I kind of liked that movie actually. But yeah, Magnolia does still release maybe 1 to 2 films a year. But really, A24 and Neon have kind of taken over that market, which, they have the money for marketing. So
you're making me feel bad as a cinephile because I watched one movie today, and that one movie was Silent Running.
I'm sorry in advance. I'm sorry in advance. Well, where did you end up finding that? Did you find that on Canopy or anything, or did you just
you have to rent it?
Oh, it's a rent. That's right. I apologize that you had to spend money on that. It's one of those that, well, we'll get into it in just a second, but did you see anything else this weekend?
I have only seen stuff for the podcast.
Okay.
I've actually been reading a bunch,
that's
great. Set me back a little bit on outside extracurricular movie watching.
No.
So I'm hoping to get back into some movies soon, but you got the Sanderson adaptations were announced, at least the studio Apple picking them up recently. And I was like, man, I really need to get back to reading. And I had actually been reading with this podcast along with them.
Oh,
So
okay.
they read an hour worth of chapters, basically, in terms of reading time for me. And I'm sure they must measure it in a similar way. And then they would have a discussion about it and say, like, it was one guy who had read the books already and 3 friends who hadn't. And it was just really interesting. And they, talk about what they think is going to happen in the book coming
cool,
up.
actually.
And I actually paused reading some of the Sanderson books because I got ahead of them. I was getting back into watching movies again, and I paused it for about a year and a half to let them kind of build up some episodes and for me to get back to doing the stuff I like.
That gives me a really good idea. I think I'm going to start a podcast about the Jar Jar Binks one shot and read a panel a day and then have a 30-minute discussion on each panel.
Well, the difference is on that one, at least the books are
they're massive,
gigantic.
Yeah, the Sanderson books are massive. Yeah, that's true. But I just was wanting to stick to my Star Wars roots, and that super important Jar Jar Binks one shot that just came out. I mean, it's one that deserves a podcast to go over each and every sentence that's in it.
Am I a bad Star Wars fan if I have no idea what you're talking about?
Oh, no, because I barely keep up with the stuff, but I listen to about 4 or 5 different Star Wars podcasts. And so out of the 4 or 5 different Star Wars podcasts I listen to, I think maybe 2 of the 5 mentioned that there was a Jar Jar Binks one shot that just came out. And the big deal about it is that he meets Kelleran Beck in this particular one shot. So, and obviously it's just silliness, but whatever.
The game show host, Kelleran Beck?
He's more than a game show host, man. He was in one of those wasn't he in one of the animated feature, the
Didn't
Jedi?
He show up in Mando season 3?
He's more than just the game show host. He shows up in something.
Doesn't he rescue Grogu in Mando season 3?
I think he's like super important character. I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyways, I don't know. Whatever. Star Wars. I don't know. Star Wars. There was the new Mando trailer, and it was better than we'd gotten previous trailers. But
look, I
don't know.
I don't know what you guys want for Mandalorian, man. I think it looks fun.
No, I mean, I don't want it to be a box office bomb. I definitely don't want that, because that doesn't mean good things. As good as the movie is, it was tracking really low on trailer views on YouTube compared to other things.
Yeah, here's what I'll say on trailer views. Trailer views largely don't matter. They can be an indicator.
Yeah,
there are lots of films that get massive amounts of views but don't perform to the levels of the Avatars or the End Games of the world.
Yeah.
And there are things that get low views that wind up blowing up. So
that's true.
So true. You would want Star Wars, though, that brand to have higher probably viewership. I agree.
Yeah.
But trailer views can sometimes be an overrated stat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you're right. You're right about that. But I just thought that it's a subject matter that gets brought up on certain YouTube shows and podcasts. I mean, when everybody always wants to talk about trailer views, and I don't necessarily. You're right. I mean, it's a small indicator, but it's not like the be all end all of is the movie going to be good or not. So
yeah.
I just don't want it to be. I just don't want it to be a box office failure, because that would be like then we'd have to call ourselves Star Trek fans, because those movies don't make any money. Those movies don't make any money, and if Star Wars starts to not make any money, then I have a problem with that.
The good news for Mando and Grogu is that it cost half the amount of Solo.
Yes.
So it could make the same amount of Solo and be a lot more successful than Solo was.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Well, let's dive into Off the Shelf.
Your pick.
I mean, look, as I have always said,
shelf's pick. Sorry,
it's the shelf's pick. I'm going in order of these movies that I randomly buy. I mean, to give myself a little credit for Silent Running, it does have a 71% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 66% audience score. So, I mean, it's not like a bad movie, but it's just a movie that was very 70s in its pacing.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I made the same note.
Very slow paced, which is what you would get in 1972. Now, what was somewhat shocking to me just thinking about the fact that this was 1972, is the model work. I really did think that the model work was impressive. And that is what this guy, this visual effects guy, Douglas Trumbull, is kind of known for, is his early model work. And so this was like obviously 1972, pre-Star Wars. Everybody goes gaga about Star Wars's effects and the model work in Star Wars. Well, this was quite a bit before that. Something that we failed to mention last week, which is totally my fault as my off-the-shelf pick. I should have mentioned this, but that it was written by 3 different people. Derek Washburn, not familiar, but Michael Cimino was one of the writers, and he's a very famous director, infamous director to some. But and then Stephen Bochco, who I believe was a big TV guy. He's in his life, he did a lot of very popular television shows like Hill Street Blues, LA Law, NYPD Blue. Obviously in 72 he was a young dude and he was just trying to find his way in Hollywood in general. So he's credited as one of the writers in this. So I found that pretty interesting. This one was starring Bruce Dern, obviously Laura Dern's dad, very famous actor. I recognized other actors in this. I won't say that I've seen a lot of things that these other actors were in necessarily, but
not a whole lot of actors in this, by the way.
No. To give credit though, Cliff Potts is a character actor that you'll see in a bunch of stuff if you look him up. Ron Rifkin, especially, a character actor that has been around forever. You'll see him in a bunch of stuff. Joseph Campanella. Now, Joseph Campanella, I believe, was a big part of Battlestar, the original Battlestar Galactica. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he? Oh gosh, I could be misspeaking. Maybe he wasn't. Anyways,
the guy, want my father, if you want an answer for that.
I know, like by saying his name out loud, your dad probably would have instantly said, "Oh yeah, Joseph Campanella. He was so and so in Battlestar Galactica." But I'm looking through his. I mean, he's a prolific actor. Was in a ton of stuff, and I definitely recognized his face. It looks like he's just mostly like one-off episodes of things for most of his career, a lot of television, and scrolling all the way back to the 70s, I do not see Battlestar Galactica at all, so I apologize if I offended any Battlestar Galactica fans. But he's a guy that you would recognize for sure. So the whole premise of this film, and we kind of mentioned it last week, is that the flora and fauna of Earth has apparently perished. It's just gone. And so you have these greenhouse ships up in space, several of them. And within these different ships, it looked to be 4 different flora and fauna type in, greenhouses, basically. And there was animals on them, not like every animal. You saw rabbits, squirrels, stuff like birds.
Good animals.
The friendly animals, exactly. And then a lot of like vegetables and stuff like that. And so for some reason, and it's not explained very well, but the mission people decide they want to blow these all up. They said, we're just going to blow them all up.
Well, it's the evil businessmen versus the environmentalists is what it is.
I mean, in a way, that's it. That ends up what it is, but it doesn't make any sense though, because if you've got an Earth,
there's a lot of this movie that doesn't make any sense.
If you've got an Earth that doesn't have flora and fauna anymore, why would you choose to blow it up? But anyways, and it was funny. What I loved, just the product placement, American Airlines.
My question is, if there's no flora and fauna on Earth, but yet people are living on Earth, why could they not build buildings on Earth that could house greenhouses and things to build, store these plants?
Unless they're not actually on Earth. And
maybe they're saying that they don't get sunlight on Earth, enough sunlight on Earth. But then at the end of the movie, we found a way around that. So
there's like none of it makes sense. But anyways, we've got this environmentalist played by Bruce Dern, who his choices to just like murder, and nobody has to watch this movie, so we can spoil it. I don't care. Like to murder people to
I was
save
kind
the
of like,
plants and
am I
animals.
supposed to cheer for this?
No, no, I didn't. I was ticked off. I was like, wait, this is supposed to be our our protagonist. Bruce Dern is supposed to be our protagonist, and he's supposed to make us care about. And I guess in the 70s, that's kind of when like the beginning, towards the end of like the hippie generation. So you've got all these people that love the environment and stuff, and it's just like,
yeah, I just don't think they made the business people evil enough for me to be like, oh, he just murdered his crewmates who were all chum with him.
yeah, exactly. And they were not, they weren't like super, but they were clearly more the guys that ran the ship. He was just there more as the environmentalist side. He was the botanist, yeah. And so this movie, I apologize, this really just didn't have much for me. I did love all the ship designs. I thought they were pretty cool for the 70s. Was it Joni Mitchell or no, it wasn't Joni Mitchell. The soundtrack was horrendous.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that.
No,
I did not care for the songs.
It was somebody famous. I just can't remember.
Running Silent was the lyrics.
It wasn't Carly Simon, Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez. That's who it was. I think it was Joan Baez. She had a couple of songs within the film. There was a score, but the thing that was just overpowering of the score was these horrible songs. Peter Schnelke was the composer. Unfamiliar. I mean, it looks like he worked a lot. I mean, he was a guy that was around a long time. But anyways, yeah, I think it was Joan Baez did the music, and man, it was rough. It was just, but I will say this, it did fit the environmentalist theme of being sort of like this hippie, carefree type of situation. So they did a good job there. I mean, it's
I
just,
don't really know that it fit some of the scenes it was attached to.
Maybe not the scenes that it was attached to, but I guess Joan Baez was like a hippie environmentalist herself, I believe. And so I think it just kind of fit the idea of what this film was trying to impart on us, which is that businessman bad, environmentalist good.
Yeah.
Which,
well,
it was mercifully short, so I was glad about that. It was only like an hour and 23 minutes, and this 29. Is the epitome of blind buy. Like, I don't know why I bought this movie. I think it was honestly the cover of the Arrow. The slip cover just looked great. It looked cool. And I got it at a discount price. I cannot recall exactly how much I paid for it, but it wasn't like the actual price of when it came out or anything. But and it was in 4K. It looked pretty. I did watch it. I did watch the disc. I didn't want to have to rent it, so I waited for an hour and a half of time to have it on the big TV upstairs with the 4K player, and it looked good. It looked really good. I mean, Arrow did a great job of the transfer, and they always do. Arrow is known for doing a pretty good job with all their stuff. And unfortunately, this is just a miss again for me. I feel like my off-the-shelf picks have been misses more than hits. I will tease that in 2 weeks when I get my next pick that it's going to be a Scorsese film I've never seen. Okay. So we at least we know that the director is competent. Not that, but I mean, this was Douglas Turnbull's only film, I think.
Yeah. His claim to fame being doing effects for 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I mean, was there anything that was redeeming for you about the movie?
I liked the Gonk droids.
Oh yeah, the droids were pretty cool.
They kind of reminded me of the Gonk droids.
Right, exactly. I wonder if like Lucas saw this movie and pulled some of his ideas in a way from, because the little droids
might have model work wise.
The droids were honestly the best part of the movie.
And maybe the ILM crew might have also as well. I mean, they were working with models and all that too.
That's true. That's true.
But I think the things I got out of it were the questions I continued to build throughout the film. I have the 70s pacing written down as one of the first things.
Yeah,
and my thing that thing to me is always pre-Star Wars. is really where you see that in the 70s. Pre-Star
That's true.
Wars, the pacing on 70s film, it is slow, takes its
Yeah.
time. You just got to understand that. It was just
Yeah.
a different time period for cinema. And in a lot of ways, I find a lot of 70s filmmaking also to just be super depressing. It was just a time where they were making these
Yeah.
ultra depressing films.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wasn't a great time in certain aspects, you know, and Hollywood was making films that reflected that. And then you got the positivity in the late 70s, early 80s.
Early 80s, yeah.
I wanted to know how a botanist got to the point where he realized that there wasn't enough sunlight that late in the, like, things were dying, like the whole garden was dying.
Right.
And he was like, wait a minute, something's wrong.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're far away from the sun. That's why this is happening to your plants.
I think he would have noticed, like, okay, this stuff's starting to die, not just like dying.
Yeah.
And then fixed it and he did fix it pretty fast. But
I mean, to be fair, he did have a pretty bad injury and was distracted by that for part of the film.
Yeah, he gets that from murdering his crewmate.
Yes, he gets that from murdering humans. You're right. He wants to save the rabbits and the birds and the trees, but not the humans.
My other question was, why couldn't he just go on the forest?
Why couldn't he just? Oh, because
the forest?
Because they wanted. When I see what you're saying. When he at the end of the film, why
someone
couldn't he
I guess
just
had
go?
To blow. Yeah. Well, but why did they have to blow up the ship? He could have just gone with the forest. They just clearly didn't care that the forest was jettisoned.
Well, their mission was to blow them up, though.
Yeah, but they didn't care. It went off into space, and now Huey or Dewey or whoever is watering it forever.
Oh, why didn't he choose to? I think he had to detonate. He couldn't detonate it from, like, he was the one that had to detonate it. There was no one left.
Sure, but why does he have to detonate the ship? Why can't he just abandon it, go on the forest? And
well, because the businessmen were coming. Like, they were coming to supposedly rescue him. And then once they got there,
I can agree with that premise.
Yeah.
But why did they not notice then the forest floating away and shoot it down?
They were still 2 hours away at that time.
Okay.
I think. I mean, that's the last thing that they said to him in their message was, hey, we're 2 hours away. So he started to scramble so he could get rid of the forest and save the bunnies and the trees and the birds.
Yeah. To float in space forever.
To float in space forever.
And by the way, the oxygen has to run out at some point, right? Well,
you would think.
I guess the trees make oxygen, but
who knows? I mean, but the robot is running it. So these robots didn't seem like the type of robots that needed charging. They just could go on forever.
Yeah.
We never saw that. So, yeah, look, there's a lot of holes in the plot.
And it's not even like plot holes necessarily. I mean, I guess in some ways, but it's just, I kept, it's bad when I continually just go, this is, and maybe in the 70s you wouldn't have asked as many questions, but nowadays it's just like, wow. Okay.
And it's not good when a film that's only under 9, it's not good when a film that's under 90 minutes feels like it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what it felt like, is like 2.5 hours.
I'm not an advocate of this, but if you wanted to watch this and you put it at like 1.5 speed, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I mean, Netflix does.
I never advocate for somebody to do that.
I don't either. I do like that Netflix won't allow you to do that if you're using like a Roku. They only allow you to do, they only allow that functionality on your phone or a tablet, I believe, but not an iPad or
it definitely exists on the iPad because I've seen it in the menu, but
yeah, it's not, you can't do it on your Roku, so you have to have some discipline to actually watch the movie. Yeah, I would never. The 1.5 watching a movie just makes me angry that they even have that as an option. Like, if they want to do that for just their television shows and just their movies, fine. But don't do it for like a Sony movie or a Universal movie or something. I'm
gonna make a cinephile confession.
Uh-oh.
When I had to write a review for a movie in college that I had already seen.
Okay.
To refresh myself.
Yeah.
I watched it at 2 speed and 1.5.
2 speed. Whoa.
Yeah, 1.5 to 2. Just to kind of go through the scenes and be like, okay, did I miss anything here? And then I went back and rewrote my review.
I mean, that's kind of different, though. You're watching it for school.
Yeah.
So it's a bit, I don't know. It's like the Cliff Notes thing. I mean, it
was Metropolis. I love that movie, but it's like 2.5 hours long.
It's a long movie. Yeah.
And I had to turn in a review and then several other papers. And I was like, I'm not.
Metropolis, way different than Megalopolis.
Yes. Metropolis is great.
No, it is. You're right.
And I did not count that as a watch. Obviously.
I've got an old DVD Kino of Metropolis. Like when Kino Lorber, it was like one of their first releases or something. And it was like a special edition. I've got that on DVD. So
I've got the Eureka from Britain.
Oh, nice. I'm surprised they haven't done a 4K of that movie yet.
Well,
you would think that they would. I mean, it's like a kind of big deal movie.
You've got most of it saved here in America, and then the rest of it saved on a 16 millimeter nitrate print in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then there's still actually about a minute or two missing from that. And they put up like a little thing during the movie that says,
during the movie,
this is what happened. It's missing.
Mm-hmm. I think my Kino has that little, I think most of the prints do.
Because Kino's got the complete, it's the quote unquote complete versions, because it's probably the most complete we'll ever get.
Probably.
And it's just a couple minutes. That's all that's missing. If you look up there's a claim that the runtime at the oh god, I could get into Metropolis, but if you look it up, there is a claim that the runtime at the premiere was like an hour longer or something. And I did such heavy research into it and found that it's the same cut
from back then. There are a ton of movies like that, like the big epic movies that were almost silent, like barely. Like there's one that is on AFI's list that has that same deal where some versions are like 3 hours long and some versions are an hour and a half long. It's interesting.
Yeah, that was because back then they would send it around, and you couldn't send around gigantic film, not platters, but the reels. Yeah. You have to send so many reels to the theaters, and they would just chop those films down when they'd send them around the world. Unfortunately. Nowadays we have the technology to be able to just stream it or put it on a disc at whatever runtime we want. But at that time they were dealing with film. I'm sure it was just an economics thing.
Oh, 100%. It had to have been. So another miss on Off the Shelf. I mean, there was some interesting things about the film, but I'm hoping that you can redeem our Off the Shelf. No pressure.
Okay.
But what is your pick going to be for us for this week?
My pick for this week is going to be a Blu-ray I bought on March 14th, 2017.
Ooh.
It was one of the first Blu-rays I ever bought.
Wow.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's a bunch in one box set. But it was the fifth thing I bought of Blu-rays when I first started collecting.
And you still haven't watched it.
And I still haven't watched it.
Wow.
Exactly what this kind of thing is for.
That's what this is for. Yeah.
Training Day from 2001, directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah. See, look, listener, just know that Garrison's Off the Shelf picks are mostly going to be better than mine. Because I've seen a lot of movies, and so it's hard for me to find movies that I haven't seen that I own. But we'll have some that are good that are my picks. But Training Day, I am super excited to rewatch that movie. That is a fantastic film. Some iconic Denzel moments in that movie, and Ethan Hawke, he's just great in everything he's in. Most things. I won't say everything. Nobody's good in everything they're in, but Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, man, he's just such a freaking good actor. He just really is. So Training Day is awesome. I'm looking forward to rewatching that. That is a great off the shelf pick.
I was just looking through all of the Blu-rays I bought in my first year of collecting, and I think I've literally seen all of them but this one.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, and, for the listener, just we like to be of service to you, so we can tell you where you can watch this movie if you don't happen to own a copy of it. It looks like there is availability to rent. Ooh, it is not streaming on any streaming service.
Wow, that surprises me.
Yeah, you can rent it on all of them. I mean, you can rent, and it's $3.99, so it's not like a huge.
You would think it would be on HBO Max.
You would, wouldn't you? You would think that. This is what's weird about the streaming age. A movie as big as Training Day, a Warner Brothers film as big as Training Day, is not available on HBO Max. It's weird. It's just so. Luckily, I own it also, so I'll be able to stick my Blu-ray in and watch it that way. But I might have the 4K of that one. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think I upgraded. Yeah, I think I upgraded to 4K on that one just because it's a great movie. So, dude, Training Day. So
to correct the record, one of the last Blu-rays I bought was a 3-pack in 2017, which contains Porky's, which I've never watched. So there are 2 movies from that year I haven't watched.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make Porky's my pick. All right.
I would venture to say this is probably Antoine Fuqua's most popular movie. He's directed a ton of films. Now, he does have Michael coming out this year. And yes. I'm sure that will be one that ends up being pretty popular for him.
And it will probably be a focus of ours.
It will definitely be a focus of ours the week it comes out. It's probably going to be his most profitable film, I would think, that he's ever done.
Probably.
And the rumor is they're splitting it in 2. I don't know.
That's a rumor. The rumor is they shot an ending, were not allowed to use it, had to go back to reshoots, decided to split the film up into 2 parts.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Antoine Fuqua, definitely look up his filmography because he is a really talented director, directed some really great movies.
Lots of stuff with Denzel.
This was only his 3rd movie, and I would venture to say, just looking through the filmography, it's probably his most popular still. I mean, he said,
written by David Ayer.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And it's probably his best script.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, I like his early stuff as well. But yeah, this is probably his best script. I didn't realize Fuqua directed all 3 of the Equalizer films. That's pretty crazy. Usually, when you're somebody of his stature, maybe by the 3rd film, you'll produce it and give it to somebody else to direct. But he directed all 3 of those. So that's pretty cool. Olympus Has Fallen, the really bad King Arthur movie. So it's not like he's perfect. That's good. It's nice to be able to get humbled a little bit. But dude, people love his first film though, The Replacement Killers. That is Chow Yun-fat and Mira Sorvino. People do love that movie. It's actually a really, really fun movie. But yeah, Training Day is awesome. If you haven't seen Training Day, or even if you have, I'm going to rewatch it for it. So I mean, it's so great. It's a fantastic movie.
Well, I made a trip down to Florida.
Yes.
To go see How to Make a Killing, directed and written by John Patton Ford. I went down to the AMC in Yulee, first time there. It's a standard theater. It's a standard AMC without an IMAX or a Dolby.
Oh, so is there not one? Do they have Prime or
they have Big D? I think
Big D. So Prime. That's probably what you would call an AMC Classic.
Yeah,
that's what they used to label them. I don't know if they removed that label, but they used to label those theaters that had the Big D their AMC Classic. So that's probably a smaller one, I would guess.
Yeah, it had 10 screens. Okay. This one was right next to the big giant screen. So it was not a big screen. There were a fair amount of people there because this is not far from Jacksonville. So it's right on the outskirts of that area.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to get to. The screen was interesting actually because it was kind of curved.
Weird.
Not like Jacob Roth. If you go to his theater with the ARQ thing, they've got a curved screen.
Oh, that's their premium experience.
This one was just Jacobs is Well, here's the interesting. I don't want to get too much onto YO movies or whatever, but
why not?
They had a ton of different types of theaters there.
Huh.
I mean, there was Lux and Club Cool. I don't it may not have been called Club Cool, but whatever it was called.
Right.
And then the ARQ Plus, and then you had these theaters in the back of I explored that whole building. It was fascinating. 16 theaters there in Wyoming, but here in Florida, just 10. And
that's still good though. I mean,
I was thinking would it be worth doing A-list and coming here?
You know what?
Every weekend?
This means that you need to do A-list.
Well,
no,
I was I don't want to make that. I have to get on the interstate and do that. And I was just not enjoying my time on the interstate.
Well, that's the problem with the interstate, because you never know if there's going to be some major accident that messes up. If like you're trying to time it and get to the theater
Yeah.
close to when the show starts, like you can't take that gamble about
And
having
then
that be your theater that you go to.
and then people drive like they want to be in the next major accident.
Of course. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happens. So,
So
well, I'm
and you're
glad you
heading
made
towards
it home
Florida.
alive from How to Make a Killing.
It's interesting. So, giving some background for this film, it is a
Yeah.
loose remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets from 1949, which starred a few people, but it starred Alec Guinness, kind of importantly.
A lot of roles in it too. 12 different roles,
Yes.
is that right?
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which really makes me want to watch that movie.
Yeah. It's also Kind Hearts and Coronet was loosely based on the novel Israel Rank, The Autobiography of a Criminal from 1907.
Wow. Okay.
So there's many layers here.
Yes,
for
there
this
are.
movie.
Yeah.
I really liked that this story starts through confession, kind of like Amadeus, which we covered a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we already know that he's been arrested for his crimes, and now we're going back through the guy who maybe regrets some of his actions. It is funny because after the first killing in this movie, his life gets a whole lot better. And I start going, why doesn't he just stop?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he eventually does get asked that.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And I was glad that came up, because it was like, you're doing a lot better. You're probably just going to inherit it anyway. Why do we need to speed things up right now and get yourself caught? But I enjoyed the movie. I give it a 7 out of 10. I like Glenn Powell. I think he does a good job. I also enjoy, God, what is her name? Blanking on her name.
Oh, Margaret Qualley?
Margaret Qualley, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's great in this.
She's fantastic in it. You've got Jessica Henwick.
Yeah. Henwick? Yeah, Jessica, and she's great in this as well.
She plays love interest. Topher Grace is really good.
Oh my gosh. Yes, he is amazing in that little role that he had. But the guy that, to me, like stole the whole thing is the guy that was in a couple seasons of The Office.
Zach Woods.
Zach Woods was freaking hilarious in this. He was given the best stuff to do, though, to be fair. Yeah. To be completely fair, he was definitely, and that's just because I'm sure John Patton Ford knew this guy has the comedic chops to pull this off. Topher Grace the same way. I mean, they were both given really like outlandish type of performances, and so it played really well in the theater that I was in. I went to like a 10-10 showing, and there were still quite a few people in there. I was surprised, and of varying ages, and all of the things that they were supposed to laugh at, they laughed at. Now, I was laughing at some of the things that maybe were a bit darker that some people didn't laugh at, because it's a dark comedy.
I was laughing at some of the dark things. In fact, I laughed at something that happens toward like right at the end almost. And two of the other guys behind me joined in laughing, and I was like, thank goodness, because I almost felt like weird for laughing at that.
Exactly. I thought it was a great script. Director wrote the script. I thought it played out really well. And the journey that you get to go through, and I love these type of movies where you know you're going to go through a step-by-step process. So when you find out how many people there are in the family, you know you're going to go through this methodical step-by-step process. And I think that leads to a really fun film, just because you're getting to see different characters at different times and getting to meet all these family members. I thought Ed Harris was perfectly cast at the age that he is at, and sort of this grizzled performance that he has been bringing to most of his recent work. It works really well for this particular character that he's playing in this movie as well.
The cuts to the funerals had great comedic timing on about every one of them.
Yes, it was edited so well. Like, this guy, and Emily the Criminal was okay. Like, I liked it, but there were some people that loved Emily the Criminal. Patton Ford has this panache, if you will, for having these characters that are his main character that you want to like, but because of what they're doing, you don't really feel like it's okay to like them.
Yeah.
Emily the criminal being the same way, and now you've got Glenn Powell playing this character that you're like rooting for, but not because of what he's doing.
Yeah. If Silent Running wants, an example of how you get a murderer to be sympathetic in some ways,
yeah,
needs to look at this film.
I love that Glenn did this movie. I think he actually did it before Running Man, though.
Okay.
As far as when this was shot versus when Running Man was shot. And so this particular choice of him doing a smaller film is interesting. I'm glad that he took the risk, because he's trying to basically be the next guy. He's trying to be the next it guy. And to choose to do a smaller film like this and kind of continue down that road of quirky characters, I think is a bold move when he could just be doing Running Man type roles.
Yeah,
and
no, I like that
he's mixing
himself.
Yeah, he's mixing it up. Well, what happens a lot of times is like the stretching themselves thing maybe happens after they're very established. I wouldn't quite say that Glenn's very established yet.
No, he's not.
And so it's good to see that he is willing to maybe be in a movie that he knows is not going to make a ton of money, that maybe not a lot of eyes are going to be on, because his charisma is just oozing off of the screen. Like this is a great role for him. And he gets to, I guess, a little bit do his thing where it seems like every movie that he's been in lately, he gets to have like a little costume, like a wig or just like so he gets to do a little bit of that in this as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked the planning of everything. You get to see him kind of breaking things down, and he's clearly not an expert, but yet somehow getting away with some of this stuff. I also liked that he was confronted with someone that, yes, they were, they gave him a job through nepotism, basically, but he kind of grew to really like and respect his uncle.
Yeah.
Played by Bill Camp.
Oh, Bill Camp's great too. Great character actor.
And I like that he was confronted with this guy who he couldn't kill.
Well, yeah, he couldn't kill because he basically fell in love with him, just like as a father figure, because that's not something that he ever had in his life. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that was a good thing to show that he still had some compassion in him. And because for a lot of this, the people that he is taking out aren't necessarily the best people. Like, and so this would have been a confrontation of a person, if he were to go forward with taking out his uncle, this would have been a person that he would have to second guess what he was doing. Whereas before, because most of those people were not likable people, it kind of made it a little easier for him. Although the artist guy wasn't necessarily a bad guy. He was just
he was annoying.
He was just annoying. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't necessarily, but he was hilarious. I think he had so many great lines, and just great comedic delivery. Jessica Henwick's character, I was kind of surprised that she would have been with him, because she seemed like she was complete opposite of him.
Yeah.
As far as what her personality was. But she was somewhat of an artist too.
For them to get together, Glenn Powell's character and her, Beckett and her.
Yeah.
I just don't see how they could have had a long-term relationship together. And she was about to break up with him, as she said, but yeah, they just didn't really seem to work.
I do love the twist of Julia. I won't say what the twist is, but I mean, there is a pretty interesting character development with that person. And that's who Margaret Qualley plays, is Julia. And I don't know, man. I really think that this, I think I ended up giving it a 3.5. I was on the fence. Like, I almost wanted to give it a 4, but I don't know. It couldn't quite get to a 4 for me, but a 3.5. I think it's a really solid movie that nobody's going to see.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened with Crime 101. Really solid movie that nobody's going to see.
That's this period of the year.
It is. You're right. I mean, this time of year,
films that nobody's going to see, unfortunately. And then there's occasionally your big film like Wuthering Heights, or next week is probably going to be a decent opening as well.
Well, I mean, and the main difference between Wuthering Heights and all of these is the marketing budget. I mean, Wuthering Heights has a ton of marketing budget. You've got
marketing plus Wuthering Heights is a brand at this point.
Exactly. And Charlie XCX, she's out there, even though she's not in the movie, she has a couple songs in the film. So she's out there pounding the pavement. Yeah, exactly. Pounding the pavement, getting people. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what ended up taking this weekend. I think there was a bit of a battle between GOAT and Wuthering Heights, wasn't there?
Yeah. And
I don't know what the final.
We won't know the final numbers until Monday. So, by the time this releases, you still won't have them, but by the afternoon of Monday, we'll have the final numbers. I think Wuthering Heights is going to take it this weekend, if I'm remembering
close
correctly.
Last time I looked. It was really
close. It was
close.
Definitely close. Yeah.
GOAT was doing well just because it's the only like kids film that is.
They got Wuthering Heights and GOAT at 1 together with 14 million. So we'll see how that goes.
So we'll see how that chases up. But yeah, I would definitely encourage people to go see How to Make a Killing. I think, I first of all, I don't think anybody knew the movie was coming out. That's a problem. I mean, that's an A24 problem. Like, they only are willing to spend the money on certain movies that they know are going to be box office hits for them. And so they put no marketing behind this at all, which is a bit frustrating, right? I mean, you've got Glenn Powell, who is kind of the it guy right now, but they didn't put any marketing behind. And I don't know how you would market this movie because it is a pretty quirky film.
Yeah.
But at least like plaster Glenn Powell's face everywhere and get him out pounding the pavement and getting people to come see his movie. I don't even think they really sent him out anywhere. I mean, it's just like, it's weird. Like,
there really hasn't been a press tour.
I saw nothing about, he didn't go on any of the talk shows or any, like there was it was really strange. And I get it. I mean, the movie is not going to make them any money, but you would think with Glenn Powell, he would want to say, hey, I've got a movie out right now. I mean, but he didn't. It's so weird. It's very strange. Like, I don't understand the business sometimes. But I'm glad the movie exists because it is a great movie. It's really fun. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and I hope they didn't spend too much. Yeah, they said estimated budget's 15. So that makes sense.
That's really low. That he got some good. There's some good work in this film then for that small of a budget. There's some great helicopter stuff, and that's interesting. I'm glad that this did well on a small budget. It won't make its will it make its 15 back? I don't know. I don't know if it'll make its 15.
It probably not, but not.
But it doesn't matter. The thing that matters for this particular movie is it's another sophomore release by a director who people are starting to maybe recognize as being talented. Yes. This is 2 movies in a row that are good films that are getting critics ratings that are, pretty high. And I would venture to, what was the critics rating? I thought it was at 60 something.
It's like 47.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah. It's not vibing with critics.
I would think the audience score will be higher than 47.
Yeah,
if you actually go see this, then
be funny if it wasn't. We're the only 2 guys that like it,
No, that's the thing. Like, everybody that was in the theater with me was vibing with it. They were laughing. Yeah. I mean, they were engaged. I mean, they weren't on their cell phones. They were watching the movie because it was a good story. It had humor in it, and it was well edited.
74% audience. So
there you go. That's that tracks for me. I would have at least thought the critics would have given this in the 60s. That's frustrating because it's not a bad movie. That does not reflect well on, I think, the quality of the film. I think it's way better than a 47%. That's a dumb critics.
Well, you look at a lot of the top ones just real quick. I mean, it's like 2 out of 4s, 2.5 out of 4s, that kind of thing. Or 2.5 out of 5. So they're all kind of middle, like almost on the edge of being slightly positive, but they all wound up on just the other side. So that's the way way it works sometimes. It's
the way the algorithm goes sometimes. Well, I think it's a better film than a 47%. I think I wouldn't give it like a 70%, but I would say at least in the 60% range. It's a good film. It's not bad. So our focus next week, though, a big one. A massive one.
Scream 7.
Yeah.
And we can give our objective Scream rankings on here.
That's right. Totally objective. Man, yeah, if you're in our Discord, there's some great conversation about objectivity versus subjectivity in the form of art, if you think movies are art or not. But there's some good conversation. I thought it was respectful.
I'm gonna go
nobody went crazy
on a mini rant here, and it's not about that.
Do it. Go on a mini rant.
So I went to AMC.
Okay.
And I'm sitting in the theater.
Okay.
It's 7:30 something ish, you know.
Oh yes, I know where this is going.
Movie starts at 7:45.
No, it doesn't.
If you're in Brunswick, Georgia, if you're on St. Simon's Island,
yeah,
you go see a movie. It starts. The trailers start at the time that the showing is advertised to start. Not at AMC.
No, gosh, no. Dude, AMC is the worst.
6 different AMC commercials or something crazy and
ridiculous amount.
And then finally it started. And I like the intro into starting it where it like has an AMC thing and it's like, now we're going to begin the movie or whatever it says. And the guy does a good job, but we need to shorten that window. It needs to, the trailer should start at the time that the showing is advertised. That's brutal. My feeling.
No, I agree. I agree that the trailer, that'd be nice.
You're conditioning audiences to show up late.
Yeah.
And then you're going to make them mad if you start showing the movie sooner. And
and that's certainly happened. I mean, depending on AMC's dumb because depending on the type of screening, like if it's a special screening, like for example, we've got Project Hail Mary doing an Amazon screening. Like if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can go see it on the Monday before the film releases. That particular screening, I guarantee you, will actually start right at 7:00 because it's a special screening, but they won't advertise that it's going to start at 7:00. So I guarantee you that there'll be people that show up at around 7:15 thinking, oh, good, maybe I'll miss some of these dumb commercials, and the movie will have already started because they never tell you what they're going to do when they're going to do that type of thing. And I've had that almost happen to me before. And it would have made me really angry because they are the worst when it like AMC. I would be venture to say like AMC and Regal, like probably really bad at having a lot of commercials before their films.
Yeah, and like I can take Royal Cinemas Pooler. I'm pretty sure they start on time. It's been a second since I've been up there, but I will be up there next month to see Project Hail Mary on the Prime Early Access, March 16th.
Nice.
They start on time. Now they do like 30 minutes of trailers or something because it's an IMAX screening and they have so many trailers they'll put in front of it. But at least you're starting on time. But when I went up to Colorado Springs and I went up to the Cinemark up there, they didn't start trailers until like 10 minutes late. I mean, it's just like, what's up with these big chains? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, they're trying to make money any way they can. So I guess they figure they can make some money with the advertisers. But it's just obnoxious.
Start the pre-show a little bit earlier than
I
you did start. But anyway.
No, none of it makes sense. That's a good rant because none of it makes sense at all. I mean, an AMC is probably the worst offender of all of them. I mean, they've been that way, and they've only gotten worse. It's like funny because they'll say, "Oh, we've shortened the Nicole Kidman thing," but then they added commercial after. At least here in Birmingham, they've added something after the Nicole Kidman thing used to be the thing that the movie's going to start right after that's done.
It was for me.
They've added something at the non-AMC classic theaters, I would venture to say. So at the 3 theaters that they have here, there's 3 AMCs in the Birmingham metro area. They've added a little commercial of turn your cell phones off, like right after the Nicole Kidman thing. And I'm like, you could have put that before. I mean, because now we don't know when the movie's actually going to start, and we don't know when we can rush to the bathroom and get back to our seats. I mean, the timing's going to be all off, and so it's gotten worse to me. The whole thing's just madness, utter madness.
Where can people find you on social media to see more ranting, Mikey?
Well, the only place that you'll see ranting is in our Discord. So you have to email cinemadebriefpod@gmail.com to get in there and see me ranting a little bit. But I am on X. I've been trying to interact with X a little bit more every once in a while, but not much. But Letterboxd is where you'll also find my movie takes. Nothing real deep, but I do put some takes on there.
You can find me on Twitter at GRyfin3, GRYFUN3. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfin. You can find us at Cinema Debrief on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you want to get in the Discord server, like Mikey said, email us or DM us on either one of the Instagrams or Twitters. We'll be back next week for Training Day and Scream 7.